Are you still recording me?
I'm recording you again.
We're still doing this? You're asking all these questions? This isn't over yet?
Not over yet, dude.
Do you know what these mean? You know
I
what that
noticed.
is?
What's that mean?
That's the Grim Reaper.
You got. I'm interviewing a dude with a Grim Reaper on his arm.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a symbol of death and dishonor.
I guess I better be careful.
You better careful how many questions you ask and what kind you ask.
All right. So your second
No,
time
I'm
in
just
prison.
kidding. Yeah, yeah. Go.
Your second time in prison. Tell us about how long was it after your first time that you ended up in prison the second time?
It was about 3 years.
And you were not on probation?
No, I was I was on probation for driving on a suspended license and fleeing the scene of an accident. I was driving. My daughter's mom, she was drunk, and I was driving, and we were going down 62nd Avenue in St. Petersburg, and she wanted to jerk the steering wheel, like just playing around. You know how you just play around a little bit, and it was wet outside, and she jerked it a little too hard in the car, and I jerked it back, and it's a one way this way, a one way that way, so I'm going 35, 40 miles an hour. The car slides sideways and it slams into a tree. I'm a couple blocks from my parents'
It was a
house.
one-car accident.
Yeah.
Were you drunk?
No, she was drunk.
You were driving?
Yeah, I was driving because
Did
she
you
was
have
drunk.
a suspended license?
Yes, and that's the reason why I didn't want to drive. But
That's the reason you went to prison for it.
that's right. And the reason
So
why I
you
was
were
driving.
you were on probation for driving on a suspended.
No, this is how I ended up on probation.
Okay.
So I bond out of jail. I go back to the scene because she calls me. She's okay when I leave. Some gentleman in a lowrider comes by and he goes, "Man, bro, are you okay?" He said, "Man, your car is wrapped around the tree. Are you good?" I said, "Man, I need to get out of here." I said, I had weed in my pocket and everything. I said, he said, "Man, come on, get in the car."
This is
man."
after you bonded out of jail?
No, this is. So when we slammed
At the
into
scene of the
tree,
accident.
yes.
Okay.
So I make sure she's okay. Now I know the cops are going to show up. The car is unsalvageable. She's okay. I'm leaving. So as I'm walking down the road, well, jogging down the road, that's when this guy, we had hydraulics on his car and everything. You know, he's like one of the essays, like, "Oh, Holmes, are you okay, man? That was some crazy shit." I was like, "Wow, like, dude, you
What
just."
kind of car was it?
He had it was a Buick Regal.
What kind of car did you wreck?
Oh, I had an Oldsmobile 2001 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Okay. And at that time, your license was suspended when you were driving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was suspended for an unpaid parking ticket that I didn't even know I got issued. So I fought it and lost, and I didn't have the $1,000 to pay for the court fines and stuff like that. And lo and behold, and that's the only thing that's ever been against my license. So I leave the scene and I go to my parents' house. I get a call from her. I'm slugging down alcohol at this point because my nerves are shot. You know, I get to my parents' house and I'm drinking Jack Daniels, and she calls me and, "You got to come back here. They're going to take me to jail if you don't show up."
Yes, it was your girl, or
This is my daughter's mom, right? Yeah, this time she
that's
had.
your baby mama.
Yeah, I really don't like saying that, but yeah, that's baby mama.
You
So
don't like that. You don't like that expression. You don't like that phrase.
it's too ghetto. I ain't gonna lie, it's just a little too ghetto for me, man. Nothing wrong with ghetto folks, just it's not for me.
That's the mother of your child.
That's the mother of my child. So at this time I hadn't impregnated her or nothing like that, but like so her sister is a St. Petersburg police officer. So the state trooper was at the scene because it's in between agencies or something. I don't know the schematics behind it, but they were called out there, and then her sister shows up on the scene when I go back because I'm only a couple blocks away, and I go back to the scene because I don't want her to go to jail. I know at this point I'm going to jail.
Where had you gone when you went back to the scene? Where were you when you started back to the scene?
What do you mean? Where was I was I
When
went,
you said you went back to the scene,
yes.
so you left the scene.
That's the guy that I told you with the hydraulics in his car.
You rode with him somewhere?
Yeah, he dropped me off at my parents' house.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's seen the accident happen.
So then you went back to the scene.
So yeah, then I went back to the scene. My dad drove me back to the scene. So I get out there and I talk to the state trooper. Christina is my daughter's mom's name. So Christina has a sister who's a St. Petersburg police officer, and she calls her sister. Her sister comes out to the scene almost around the same time I show up, and she's telling the state trooper, "Arrest him, take him to jail. And he's
Pointing at you.
yes. The state trooper tells her, get in her car and shut up. She says, I'm a cop. He goes, I don't care. This isn't your place.
She wasn't not in uniform, or
No, she wasn't in uniform. She was
Okay.
off duty. And so so she got in her car, shut her mouth, and then left. And then the state trooper took Christina to jail for knowingly letting an unlicensed driver operate a vehicle. And he took me for fleeing the scene of an accident,
Driving on a
suspended, and
Did you admit that you were driving?
well, at that point, yeah, because I didn't know like that she was going to go to jail. Like I thought if I showed back up, she wasn't going to go in.
When you admitted driving,
Uh-huh.
who did you admit that to, and what was it in response to? Did they ask you something and you said yes, I was driver? How did they get that extraction? How did they extract that confession from you?
Okay, so when I got the call from Christina, it was apparent at that point that she had let the cop know that she wasn't driving. Because when I left, I told her, you were driving, I was not driving. I said, I didn't even want to get behind the wheel anyway. I said, you caused this accident. I said, this is going to cost me some jail time. I said, you're going to have to fess up this. I'm leaving the scene now. Are you okay? She said, yeah, I'll take care of it. I got you. And then I just assumed that she was going to tell him that she was driving. But apparently she tried to do that. But then there were witnesses that says, no,
Some guy was driving.
some guy was driving and he left. So then she had to tell him the truth. And then, so that's when she called me up and said that she was going to jail if I didn't go back to the scene. I went back to the scene and the state trooper and take up both of us to jail. So,
Okay, you went to Pinellas County Jail.
yep, that's the only jail I've ever been in.
How long from that point, the day of your arrest, before you actually went off to prison?
So I got 67 days in before I seen the judge, and I was put on 4 years probation.
Okay, so you didn't go to prison that time.
No, I violated the probation 4 months in. I pissed dirty for THC for my probation officer, and they wanted me to come in, and I just didn't show up. So at that point, it was catch me if you can. So a couple weeks later, 5 o'clock in the morning.
They caught you.
Yeah, I was in my boxers and all, straight in bed.
You were at home.
Yep, they got me, and so I had to do 13 months. But
Where was that?
That was
No more youthful offender.
no at this point. You know what I mean? You only get one youthful offender status. That's it. You don't get that again ever. You know, it's considered a mercy, like it's a leniency to have a
The
youthful offender.
even
Yeah.
though they send you to the gladiator camp.
Yeah, see, it's kind of like a conundrum, like a catch-22 or a paradox, whatever you want to say. Man, it's just nuts.
All right, folks, bear with us. We are going to have another segment or two with this gentleman. Thanks for watching.